For most of his life, Dr. Jonathan Reed had been told he was brilliant. His professors praised him. His colleagues envied him. But to Jonathan, brilliance meant nothing unless it could achieve the impossible. While other scientists chased recognition, awards, and titles, Jonathan was chasing a single ancient dream. The dream that had obsessed alchemists for centuries. The power to turn ordinary metal into gold. And for that dream, he paid with everything he had. He walked away from a prestigious career in Boston. He stopped answering his friends' calls. He sold his beautiful home, piece by piece, just to fund his increasingly desperate experiments. Even the love of his wife, Sarah, was slowly fading. Not because she didn't care, but because she no longer recognized the man he had become. His world had shrunk down to one single place, a dimly lit basement laboratory. It was a space filled with rusty tools, cracked beakers, and burnt wires. The heavy, bitter smell of failure hung in the air. Night after night, he worked completely alone, surrounded by shadows. His fingers were often burned from mishandling chemicals and hot metal. His eyes were constantly red from exhaustion. He would whisper formulas to himself like prayers, talking to the elements as if they could actually hear him. He couldn't stop. He wouldn't stop, because he knew that if he quit now, then everything he had sacrificed would have been for nothing. The lost friendships, the sold-off memories, the love he was pushing away. It would all be meaningless. Then, on a cold, drizzly Tuesday, when hope was almost entirely gone, the impossible finally happened. It wasn't a complex formula that did it. It wasn't a perfect, elegant equation. It was pure chaos. A sudden, violent electrical surge from a faulty generator, a rare fragment of a meteorite he'd been analyzing, and one last, desperate attempt. Light exploded across the room, so bright it seared the color gold directly into his vision. The piece of scrap metal in his hand shifted, shimmered, and then settled into a deep, unmistakable shine. Gold. Real. 24-karat gold. Jonathan dropped to his knees, laughing and crying at the same time. After 10 long years, he had done it. In the days that followed, he refined his discovery, condensing the chaotic process into a small, mesmerizing device. A smooth, glowing sphere he called the conversion orb. When activated, it could instantly transmute any metal it touched into pure, solid gold. But it came with one absolute, unchangeable limit. It could only be used for 60 seconds of continuous operation. No more, no less. After that, it would overload and burn out, forever useless. For a normal man, that would have been more than enough. 1 minute of infinite value. He could have patented it. He could have sold it. He could have changed the world. But Jonathan was no longer a normal man. A decade of obsession had twisted his ambition into something much darker, pure greed. He didn't just want millions. He didn't want fame. He wanted more wealth than kings, more power than entire nations. And he wanted it instantly. When he finally showed the orb to Sarah, her hands trembled as she looked at it. Not with excitement, but with fear. "It's beautiful," she whispered. "And it's dangerous. Only if we use it wrong," Jonathan replied, his eyes shining with a manic light she hadn't seen before. "But if we use it right, we'll never have to worry about money again. Ever." He showed her the plan. He'd found a legendary, forgotten vault hidden deep inside a defunct historic bank in New York City. The building was scheduled for public auction in just 3 days. The vault was a relic of a bygone, era-thick, old-world steel from floor to ceiling. It was the perfect target. He didn't need to steal gold. He would create it. He would transform the entire vault into one solid golden monument worth, by his calculations, $500 million. "No alarms, no guards, no violence," he promised her. "Just 60 seconds. Then we walk away, rich for the rest of our lives." Every instinct inside Sarah told her to run. to get as far away from him and that glowing sphere as possible. But love, loyalty, and the faint memory of the man Jonathan once was kept her standing right there beside him. They planned every second with surgical precision. They'd wait for a stormy night to provide cover. A silent entrance through a forgotten service tunnel. Jonathan would go inside the vault with the orb. Sarah would stay outside, timing the 60 seconds exactly. At her signal, he would stop, remove the orb, and they would leave before anyone even knew they were there. Under a sky split by thunder and rain, they entered the ancient, cavernous building. The long halls echoed with an unnerving emptiness. Their footsteps felt like sins against the quiet past. Jonathan, using the skills from his old life, bypassed the outdated security system with ease. Soon, they stood before the massive steel vault door. It was cold, silent, waiting. Jonathan took a deep breath. His entire life, every sacrifice, every lost relationship, every sleepless night, it had all led to this one moment. "Ready, Sarah," he whispered, his voice tight. She raised the timer, her fingers shaking so much she could barely hold it steady. 60 seconds. Don't waste a single one. He activated the orb. A blinding golden light filled the vault, more intense than the sun. As he pressed the sphere to the wall, the steel sizzled, melted, and reformed into pure, flawless gold. The sound it made was like a living thing, roaring, hungry, and impossibly alive. Jonathan moved frantically, sweeping the orb across the walls, the floor, the ceiling. Everywhere it touched, it left a trail of wealth beyond imagination. The vault was no longer a prison of steel. It was becoming a treasure chamber. 40 seconds. Sarah shouted, her voice barely cutting through the thunderous hum of the orb and the storm raging outside. Jonathan's heart pounded in his chest. The golden glow was reflected in his widening, mesmerized eyes. There was so much gold, so much more he could make. One more wall, he thought. Just a little more. 55. Jonathan, stop now. Sarah cried, panic rising in her voice, but he was lost in it. Lost in the shine, lost in the power, lost in the godlike vision of his future. He turned toward the massive steel door, the last remaining piece of the old vault. Just a little more? He muttered to himself, raising the orb. Jonathan, no, she screamed. It's the last second. At the exact moment the timer hit 60, a terrible truth revealed itself. The orb didn't only convert what it directly touched. It converted anything electrically conductive in its immediate range. The complex wiring inside the vault's locking mechanism surged with power, overloaded, and with a deep, final, metallic clunk, the door, now solid, seamless gold, slammed shut. Locked, sealed forever. The orb shattered in Jonathan's hand, its light dying instantly. An oppressive silence fell, followed by raw panic. He lunged toward the door, pounding his fists on the smooth, warm golden surface. On the other side, Sarah joined him, screaming his name, their fists striking uselessly against their $500 million prison. The air inside the vault grew thick, heavy, poisoned by the horror of their realization. No windows, no signal, no tools, no escape. They had turned the world's greatest treasure into an unbreakable tomb. 3 days later, the bank was auctioned off. The new owner, a wealthy art collector, stepped into the building and stared in disbelief at the mysterious, sealed golden vault. It was flawless, perfect, a solid block of pure gold. It was impossible, untouchable, a miracle of modern art. He smiled and announced to the world that it would be preserved just as it was, a symbol of ultimate wealth. He named it the Golden Tomb. Crowds came from all over the globe to admire it. They took photos. They whispered in awe at its impossible beauty. No one ever imagined that inside that shining, priceless monument were two human hearts that had beaten until there was no air left to breathe. Two lives trapped forever by one extra, greedy second. And so, The world admired their tragedy without ever knowing it. Because when greed becomes greater than reason, even the greatest mind becomes its own executioner. And the true measure of intelligence is not knowing how far you can go, but knowing exactly when to stop. Thanks for watching. If this story made you think, consider subscribing for more tales that explore the light and dark sides of human nature. See you next time.